Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about how to get your edges back, because edges are so important. Like subconsciously, that is what people actually see when they first see you and your hair. So I feel like it's very important to always have them. Now, as you can see in the thumbnail or in the beginning of this video, I obviously lost my edges at some point, and so now it took about 8 months to get to this point. It could have been done earlier, it could have happened earlier, but I had a few setbacks and I'm going to explain to you what I did to get them back. So I'm just going to go straight into it. So first of all, the first step to recovering your edges is to know what actually caused you to, or how do I say it, like what did you do that made them go? Okay, so is it you wearing wigs for too long? Is it you not moisturizing your edges? Is it you not using the right products on your hair? Because whatever products is working for your hair, like whatever moisturizer you use for your hair, you're supposed to use it for your edges. Or is it the fact that you just neglect your edges altogether? You have to figure out what actually caused your edges to like be invisible. Some of you, you're probably using edge control too much. You're using them every single day. You're brushing it, or you're combing your edges too harshly. You have to find out what actually caused it, because once you find that out, then you can stop doing that and actually get them back. But if you don't know the reason behind it, then it's going to be very difficult to get them back. One of the reasons why my edges my edges were invisible, or basically gone, was the fact that I was doing tight protective styling. So cornrows, like I should have known for a long time that my hair just didn't like it. You know, your hair is you. If you actually don't like cornrows, then definitely your hair won't like cornrows. And so whenever I do cornrows, like it would always come out with my edges all the time. And luckily for me, like when I stop doing them for a while, I'll see a little bit of edges, but because I was doing them consistently and I was wigging it and I wasn't paying attention to it, at a point my edges just didn't come back anymore. So tight protective styling was the reason why I lost my edges. Also, I was using edge control on a daily basis, because sometimes you have these black aunties who are always telling you to make sure that your edges are slayed, make sure you comb your edges, make sure you gel them down, and we're not born with slayed edges. So I don't really understand why some people are always spending like more than 2 minutes on their edges. Like, your edges don't have to be slayed. It's okay. Like, I'm not using edge control right now. I only moisturize it and that's it. I prefer my edges looking nappy than to look slick and slayed and gelled. Like, some people just go overboard with it, and in the long run you could end up losing some edges. So you have to understand the cause behind it. The second thing that you need to do in order to get your edges back is to make sure that when you are deep conditioning, you need to also apply that deep conditioner to your edges, a generous amount, okay? Because your edges, the hair on your edges is part of your hair. It's not separate, it's part of your hair. So when you're applying deep conditioner on your hair, apply it to your edges as well. Now, me, when I apply deep conditioner, I apply a generous amount of deep conditioner, like a generous amount. And I don't care if I have to go out and buy some every single month, because I care about my hair and my hair is important. My hair is part of me, it's part of my look, so I invest in products that work for my hair. So when you are applying deep conditioner, make sure that you are applying a generous amount to your edges, you know, and also the nape of your neck where you have hair. Every single hair on your head should be filled up with deep conditioner. The second point also is to moisturize those edges. Now, the moisturizer is what was a bit of a setback for me, because like I said in my first video on, I think the video I did on why you should stop wearing wigs, I talked about I touched briefly on the fact that I did a big chop, right? So as you can see in the beginning of this video, my natural hair is quite short. But in the beginning of going natural, I was at that stage where I was becoming a product junkie, and I was trying different moisturizers to see what worked. And some moisturizers was a bit of a setback, and some of them ruined my edges because the ingredient wasn't going well with my hair. Remember this? I don't know if some of you like remember it. Back when we were young, when we used to use this, I saw this in my mom's table. And I said, you know what, let me just try if this moisturizer might work for my hair, because it's like a liquid formula and I have low porosity hair. And so when I was using it, I knew that my hair was moisturized, but I realized that my edges were breaking. And so I thought, what could possibly be the problem? And then I said to myself, okay, the only thing that has changed is the fact that I've added this to my routine. And so I realized that my hair actually doesn't like mineral oil. So any hair product that I use that got mineral oil in it, it would ruin my hair, it would break my hair, and it would also break my edges. So it's very important for you to understand that if a particular moisturizer doesn't work for the majority of your hair, it's definitely not going to work for your edges. Your edges is part of your hair. So it's important for you to find a moisturizer that works for your hair, because that's the one you need to apply for your edges. Another thing is to make sure you are reading the label of these moisturizers, okay? If the stuff says detangler, please understand, it's just for detangling your hair. It's not to moisturize the hair. I know some of you would use it as a moisturizer, but there's a reason why the person wrote detangler, okay? I tell you this because at a point I was using Cream of Nature Pure Honey Twisting Cream, right? I was using that on my edges because I said to myself, well, it works for my hair, it makes my hair soft when I, twist it. But then I realized that my edges wasn't flourishing. And then I said to myself, well, the stuff says twisting cream. So why in the world am I using it on my edges? So I stopped using it, and then I started using the Cream of Nature Pure Honey leave-in conditioner. And I would spray it on my edges, and my edges were literally flourishing. Like, it was as if they just came back. Okay, they came back, and they came back alive. So please read the label. If the stuff says twisting cream, it's not for your edges. If the stuff says detangler, it's not for your edges. The one that says moisturizer, to moisture the hair, that's the one you apply on your edges and your hair, okay? Just to clarify that, because I've made that mistake. Another thing to get your edges back is essential oils. So for me, I touched on this in my previous video. One day I was praying to God and I was asking God, what should I do to get my hair growing long and thick, because I had traction alopecia at the back of my head, and what he told me was rosemary oil. Now, I would advise you to also ask God as well what you should use for your hair or for your edges to grow back. But for me, it was rosemary oil. Now, if you go on YouTube and you type in rosemary oil, you'll find that some people have actually used rosemary oil on their edges and their edges came back. So this is not only me. Even on Amazon, I've seen people testify that when they started using rosemary oil, their hair grew back. Now, please understand, rosemary oil works best when you actually have no hair follicle in that particular area. So if you've got patches, rosemary oil works best in that situation. If you already got hair, it don't really work much. It works in areas where you don't have hair growing at all, and then it tends to activate it and allows hair to grow better, stronger, and thicker. I can testify to that because I've been using rosemary oil for the whole 8 months, and that is the reason why my edges came back the way it did. Now, the thing is, when you are using rosemary oil, please make sure you're buying organic rosemary oil. Do not buy the one that says mixed with other stuff. No, it has to be 100% organic rosemary oil. When you buy it, then find another container and mix it with a carrier oil. So almond oil, virgin olive oil, almond oil, whichever carrier oil of your choice, mix it together. Make sure that you have more rosemary oil in the mixture than your carrier oil, because really it's the rosemary oil that you want more of. And then after you've moisturized your edges, then use the oil on your edges. So please make sure you moisturize the edges first and then use the oil, because that way you'll get that menthol feeling on your scalp, and then you could get a little bit of a tingling feeling. That's how you know that it's working. If you don't get the tingling feeling, it could still be working, okay? It's not compulsory that you have to get the tingling feeling to know that it's working. Also, don't be wasting more than, like, you shouldn't spend more than 1 minute on your scalp. You shouldn't spend more than 1 minute on your edges, okay? Some of you are just putting too much pressure on these edges. Like, you're trying so hard to get them to just lay flat. You're not born with flat edges, so stop wasting your time. Stop putting those edges through a lot of pain and hassle. Leave the edges alone. Okay, I know some of us have to actually fight for these edges, because some people will tell you, oh, go put on some edge control, go comb those edges. Like, no, okay, you're not born with slick down edges. Like, if you're not born with naturally straight hair, then why in the world would your edges be naturally slicked down? It don't make sense, okay? We as black women are born with either coily hair or curly hair, so our edges is definitely not going to be slick straight down. You know, on special occasions, yeah, you know, you want to put some edge control if you want to, but to put that stuff every single day, you know, using a toothbrush to slick it down, like, you're just doing too much. Just leave it alone. Sometimes in its natural state is when it looks its best, and trust me, your edges will be so grateful that you're not annoying it, you're not bullying it, you're not putting a lot of pressure on it, you're just leaving it alone. Also, another point is to be patient, okay? Patient is important. Like I said, it took about 8 months for me to get to this point, and there was a few setbacks within the 8 months, but it was good because it gave me a chance to know my hair. So the reason why patience is required is because a lot of us were born with relaxers. A lot of us, you know, we've been relaxing our hair for so long, and so it takes time to get to know your hair. It takes time to know what your hair likes, what your hair doesn't like, and so you need patience, okay? Your edges is going to take time to get them back. It's going to take time. So stop looking for quick fixes. Stop looking for, you know, all these quick things that people are selling to you on YouTube. Like, be patient, okay? Be patient. Also, when your hair is in a protective style, do not forget your edges, okay? Do not forget your edges, because your edges are not in a protective style. So if you have a weave on your hair, you still need to moisturize your edges underneath that, okay? You need to make sure they're moisturized. Now, if you are wearing wigs, which I don't recommend, okay? And I know some of you all are gonna have a problem with that, but I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't recommend you wearing wigs, because when you wear wigs for too long, you don't know your hair, okay? And it's gonna even take you longer to understand your own hair. And when you're wearing wigs, especially these lace closures and lace frontal, please understand that your lace frontal, your lace closure is sitting on top of your edges. You're not giving your edges time to breathe. And if you're telling me that you come home and you take it off, well, you come home, but air, oxygen, like the breeze outside, your edges want to feel that too. They don't want to just come home and feel the heat in the house. They want to feel the breeze, the wind that is outside as well. So putting on your wigs for too long on your edges is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And if your edges are gone, you really should not go back to be wearing wigs every single day. You should not be going back to be wearing wigs like 5 days a week, because when something is wrong with your hair, it's a sign that your hair is trying to tell you that, listen, I need you to stop what you're doing and find a way to recover me, find a way to fix me, because I don't like what's happening. That's why you're getting uncomfortable when you look at your hair, because something is wrong and your hair is trying to tell you, I need you to find the solution to this problem. But instead, when you keep wigging it and wigging it and wigging it, you're making the situation worse. And there's some people who permanently will not have edges anymore because of this situation. So please understand that when your edges are gone, I don't recommend you wearing wigs. Instead, do protective styling. There's so many out there. Like, there's yarn, there's twist, there's braids, there's crochet, there's weave that you can do. You know, there's so many out there that would still allow your edges to breathe. It would still allow the breeze outside to, you know, to hit the edges as well. So just be aware of that. I'm not against, like, I don't want to sound like I hate people who wear wigs. I don't hate people who wear wigs, but I just feel like wigs have allowed some people not to know their hair, and it's ruined a lot of people's edges. Like, that's the truth. It's ruined a lot of people's edges. Some of these celebrities that you'll see with wigs constantly 24/7, some of them don't have edges, and that's just the truth. Some of them don't have it. So if you can still see a little bit, you know, you better get into the habit of finding other protective stylists so you can reduce the wigs and get these edges back, because your edges are important. They're very, very important. They make a huge difference to the overall look of your hair. Okay, so I think that is it for this video. I don't think I have any more to say. Yeah, so that's how I got my edges back. Just follow all these tips that I'm telling you. Also, when you're shampooing your hair, I'm pretty sure you know, shampoo your edges. And please always remember, what doesn't work for your, like, the majority part of your hair is not going to work for your edges. Okay, so if your hair doesn't like a particular moisturizer, your edges is not going to like it too. If your hair doesn't like a particular style, your edges are not going to like it too. And as for protective styling, make sure that the styles are not too tight, because that puts a lot of pressure on the edges. Tell your hairdresser, do not put a lot of pressure on my edges, please. If she cannot listen to that instruction, do not go back to that particular hairdresser, because a professional hairdresser should care more about the health of your hair than the style of your hair. If a lot of these hairdressers had told me that, look, Dami, your hair is too fine, because I have fine hair, your hair is too fine, I can't do big huge box braids for you, because if I do big box braids for you, your edges are gonna go. If they had told me that, I would have not, I wouldn't have done the big box braids, because I've done braids in the past and my edges came out with it as well. And when you have fine hair, it can easily break if you are not careful with it. Fine hair is like a newborn baby. You have to be very, very gentle with it. Like, it's very, very fragile. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope this video has helped you all. If you like it, hit the like button. If you know anybody who needs to get their edges back ASAP, let them see this video. And also, if you also have anything that you did to get your edges back, leave it down in the comment section. And that will be it for today. Stay blessed and stay beautiful. Bye.